Yeah, I'm not going to go into the horror stories that we had at our hotel.
We've been telling all kinds of hotel horror stories the last couple of weeks.
We got there. We got there about 3:00, and that's when check-in time was supposed to be. And the guy was like, "Oh, they're still cleaning your room. Can you come back in like 5-10 minutes?" I'm like, "Yeah, no problem." I mean, we still had to go to the store anyway, so it took us like 5-10 minutes to figure out where to go. And then when we got there, we probably spent another half hour, 40 minutes while we were there. Came back, and they were still cleaning the room. So about 45 minutes later, they're still cleaning the room.
Was there a murder in that room beforehand? I mean, that's a lot of cleanup. That's like an FBI cleanup.
Interesting you say that. The very last night we were there, about 2:00 in the morning, we hear this loud bang right outside our door. And we both woke up, and I'm like, do I get up and go investigate, or do I just stay right where we're at? We stayed right where we were at.
Welcome to RC Underground Radio.
Yes, I realize I look like an idiot with this mustache, and I'm okay with it.
The ultimate podcast that covers everything RC.
You don't need to cut anything either. You can just call this the raw, uncut episode. We can leave it at that.
The raw.
Yeah.
Are you drinking dollar store soda again? Quit spending your money on RC stuff. You can buy some name brand soda.
RC Underground Radio is your backstage pass to the RC industry. With insiders that are shaping the future of the hobby. The future of the hobby.
When we bring this guest on, I guarantee people are going to go, are you kidding me? He wrote a song.
I did.
We're going to have to end this soon, huh?
Yeah, no shit. And we're going to have to edit this.
So, here are your hosts, Dave Brinkman and Ryan Ratzloff.
Well, welcome back, everybody, to another week's edition of RC Underground Radio. Tonight, this is a track we've all been talking about. Everybody's been talking about this track forever because it's a 1RC track that races on dirt. So they're actually racing the dirt cars on dirt, probably the way it's supposed to be, right? So tonight we've got Jimmy Padilla and Chris Smith joining us, guys. Thanks so much for joining tonight.
Thanks for the invitation, Dave. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. We got a lot to talk about because you got a lot going on at that venue. I know the track was magnificent, and then you tore it all up and you made it even better if that was possible. So we'll talk a little bit about that. I know you got a big race coming up in May. I want to find out more about that. And there's a lot of things I know that you have on the grounds there. It's not just the 1RC dirt track. Is that correct?
Yes, we have mini off-road racing, which is the mini Bs, mini Ts. We just started mini Z racing as well. We just raced yesterday, and that's doing pretty good too. We had 19 racers yesterday, so that's doing pretty good.
Nice. And then,
we're not a facility or a venue. We're actually a backyard.
I can relate to that. I've got the RC Underground. It's in my basement. So I can totally understand what it's like to have a 1RC or multiple venues, on your property. So I applaud you guys for doing that. That's the way to do it, right? Because then, I mean, you got to pay property taxes either way. So it takes the pressure off the track having to make all this money just to stay open, right? You can really stay true to the spirit of the hobby and just have people out there to race and have a good time and enjoy it.
It does bring a different kind of vibe when you're backyard racing instead of an actual facility. So we're enjoying it. It's been 2 years now doing this, so it's been fun. It's hard work, but it's fun.
So tell us a little bit about that hard work. Tell us some of the prep work. How much time does it take you to get that track ready to roll?
Well, usually it takes me around 2 hours probably to prep it. This track is sugar based, so that's what we use to prep the track. We do our surface is hard, compact dirt, so we do compact it a lot before we prep it, and that's about it. And that's what we get, as you can see in the back. It's just a hard surface, but it is sugar base, which is not really hard on the 1RC tires. We probably got to buy a set every 3-4 races. Well, personally, that's what I do. So it's not that bad. If people think that sugar might not be a good idea for them, it's not that bad.
So go a little deeper here on this sugar thing. So you're talking just regular pure cane sugar, and you turn it into a liquid form and spray it on the track, or how do you work that?
I actually spread the sugar on the track, and then I sprayed it with water. And I do need the sun to work with me for it to work. If I don't have no sun, it's not going to work out.
So where did you pick up that idea? Is that of your own thought and making, or have you seen that in real dirt car racing? Where you picking that up from?
Well, we used to race. He even raced with me. It was called Bobby's. At Bobby's, he did a sugar track, but it was for off-road racing.
Okay.
Yeah, and here in the desert Southwest, there's been places in like Tucson, Arizona, Phoenix, Albuquerque that there was like a time frame when off-road was really big, especially when mid-motor became a thing. He had a place called Race Party that's still going on, but more A-scale related right now. And we kind of transitioned sugar into El Paso there, while everywhere else in El Paso either stayed loam or really hard-packed tacky clay at an indoor that we had also. So he brought that here to his off-road and to the mini 1RC track.
Yeah, it is on our off-road track as well.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about the off-road track. What's going on there? It's all for smaller car racing as well, not like 8th scale or 10th scale, correct?
Correct. So that one we started 2 years ago when I got the house, actually. We race only Mini B and Mini T's, which is 1/18 scale and 1/16 scale. All these cars are Losi brand, so everybody runs the same car. So yeah, that's the only classes we run out here. We don't run 10th scale or bigger classes.
You've got a big race coming up. I know it's going to be May 24th and 25th. Is this going to be a 2-day show, or is it 1-day practice? And then the Saturday, is that when all the main racing is going to happen?
So Friday, it is going to be a whole day of practice. Towards the end, we are going to have a round of seating, a single car seating. That way we know where to put each racer for the next day for the qualifiers, which we'll have on Saturday. We'll be having 3 qualifiers. We'll be having double lower mains. And then for the A mains, we'll be having triple A mains. And that will be the whole day of Saturday. So we're expecting to be here pretty much a lot of hours on Saturday.
Yeah, it's when you have that many racers and you have that many things going on. Yeah, you're going to be there all day into the night. But it's
yes.
Is that going to be on Live RC? Will we be able to follow it on Live RC?
Yes, sir. We all of our racing is under Live RC, so you can get any updates there. We actually will be going live on Facebook too, so hopefully you can catch us there too.
Yeah, I got to say, your social media is on point. You guys are, that's how I heard about it in Wisconsin, right? You guys post a lot. You post really good stuff, interesting stuff. And the attention to detail that you put into that track, I think, is what really catches everybody's eye from a distance, right? I mean, it really looks like a dirt track, and some of the different angles and things like that you guys take the video, really, really well done. You get a real feel for what it really motivates you to want to come there. If I wasn't going on a family trip here not too soon, I'd probably be trying to roll in there for that May 24th, 25th. That sounds like a lot of fun, but I'll get there. Ryan will get there too. We definitely want to come out and try these cars on dirt. And I know that's why Murph is coming, because he's got to be dying to just see what these cars do on dirt. So that's awesome. He's coming to the race. So you mentioned Murph is coming. Any other drivers? You got Mikey Maldonado coming. You got any of the other big hitters? And I know you got big hitters locally, so I'm not taking away from your local drivers or you guys. But any other big names coming?
Well, you mentioned Michael Maldonado. I'm kind of interested if he really does come down. I really would like to race with him because, the few big races that have been held for these cars, at least in this region, he's won just about every one of them. So, it's like, I don't know if you follow dirt car racing, but it's like coming and having Ricky Thornton come in and racing here or something. He's the big dog of these cars, you know. He's the guy you want to chase. I mean, not to take it away from Matt either, but Michael Maldonado, he's able to go and race where Murph's normally putting on the show and he's not able to really go and get in and dig in. So it's going to be interesting to go and race the guy who's won all these shows. He's going to probably show us a thing or two, but it's going to be great to be on the same racetrack with him.
Yeah, well, hey, don't take anything away from the dog. Yeah, I don't know what the count is. I don't know who's beat who more times, but yeah, you talked about it. The Texas race, you know, that came down to just a one lap distance between the two. Yeah. So they got a score to settle there. So yeah, it looks like you guys are going to get the shot. I thought I was going to get the shot May 18th. Michael's coming. He's coming to Wisconsin. He's going to run the Underground. He's going to run the Foam Nationals. But Murph, unfortunately, has another commitment, so he's not going to be able to make it. So I think you guys are going to get the rematch that everybody's going to be watching. So that's awesome for you guys. It's going to be a great track. Yeah, I don't know if Michael's ever raced on a 1RC dirt track.
He's been all carpet and foam, whether it's been everything else he does. Even when he's raced 18th scale off-road cars, they've been on carpet. So, yeah. But you can't take it away from him, and our track's gripped up, so I don't think it'll take much for him to be fast. When you're the man, you're the man. Just takes a little dial on one.
Mm-hmm. Right. So if Murph can make it and Michael makes it, that's going to be great because that's going to be common ground for both of them, right? If neither one of them have actually run dirt. So, yeah, everybody will be watching that race really close. I'm glad it's going to be on YouTube. I'm glad it's going to be on Live RC because, yeah, I'll have them both going and watching. It's going to be awesome. Now, the other part of that show that I noticed is it is a money race. It appears it's 500 to win. I think 300 for second, 150 for third, and you're paying out to fourth, which I think is great. Great to have that fourth place, recognized with little cash to put back on their way home. So how's that all going to work? Maybe give me a little more detail how you plan that out.
So, yeah, it's only going to be money base for the super late model class. And like you mentioned, it is 500 for first place, 300 for second, 150 for third, and $50 for fourth. We are planning to have at least 5 cars on the track, so one person won't be getting no money from it.
And that's okay. I mean, that you're paying win, place, show, and fourth. That's amazing. I haven't seen that yet. So, what motivated you guys to do a money race? Is it to bring out some of the big dogs, or did you just say, hey, we want to do this? We're starting to see more and more of this.
Well, that's one thing that I started to see money races for 1RC. But a lot of people always comment, hey, you should do a money race, do a big race. So that's another main reason why, to hopefully attract out-of-towners to come to our track and race us.
Promoter to promoter. Things are going to ratchet up a little bit when there's money on the line, and we saw a little bit of that in Texas. So, but I'm sure you guys got that covered, and just just the way you guys go about it, you can tell that the fun and the fellowship is paramount there. If you're not coming there to have a good time, then don't come, kind of thing. Is that a fair statement?
Definitely. So hopefully everything runs smooth. We do have a paid announcer that he's been doing announcing for over 10 years, so he knows how to run a smooth program. So hopefully that's going to help out as well.
Yeah, for sure. And how about tech inspection? You got that cornered?
Yeah, so for the motors, we do have a motor analyzer just in case we need it. We are going to, if you check our rules that we posted today, pretty much everything's open. So there's not that many limitations on the rules. It just makes it easier for us to organize the race, and that's how we race out here. We try to be as fast as possible and to let the driver be as good as possible with all the tune-ups, because I do see lots of races that have a lot of rules in place, which personally I really don't like it a lot. I just like faster racing. So hopefully that's going to help out with the tech.
Driver talent is the cream of the crop is always going to come to the top. There's just no two ways about it, right? So if you bog it down with rules and everybody's like, oh, he's got coilovers. Oh, he's got, no, let coilovers, let them run coilovers, let them run springs. It doesn't make a huge difference. It helps one guy's driving style versus the other. So if it's going to make more cars be competitive, what's wrong with that?
Let newcomers to drive better. It makes their car drivable, so they enjoy it more too. So that's why we don't have that much rules out here for that same reason.
So Chris, I'm sure you're a racer out there. You want to be thought of as one of the big dogs. What are you thinking coming into this race? You think you got a shot at the money?
I would want to say I want to try and be there, but we'll see. I mean, it's going to be very interesting to see.
He's a fast racer. He's one of the top ones, so he has a chance.
Yeah, and it's I haven't really raced with many other people other than my local guys here. I mean, a while back, me and my brother ventured out to Odessa, Texas to race at Low Life Speedway with Taylor Fowler and his family, and it was different to go and race on a slightly different rule set. They run pretty much open, just like us, almost anything 1RC related, but they run on nickel metal hydrate there. And it's a little bit shorter of a track, and it's on carpet. So it's a different ball game, and so it's going to be interesting to come and race with guys that we've never seen before, too. That's the other thing. You never know what you're going to get, I'm going to try my best. I'm going to try and start getting ready for these guys. We'll see. I mean, I don't want to say I'm going to have anything because I won't know till they're here.
My money's on you, buddy. Going into it, you're my man.
Fingers crossed. We have another guy who's really fast named Tony Holbert, so we'll see what he's got for these guys, too.
How about you, Jimmy? Are you going to be able to race, or are you just going to kind of oversee the show?
No, well, I am going to race, to be honest. That's why I'm doing it. So hopefully we'll see how it goes, but I am going to be more on the checking the event to go smooth. But I am going to be racing some classes on it. I don't know if I'm going to make the A main. We'll see.
So you said you're going to use the motor analyzer. I'm just curious, what's the max KVs on that you guys decided on?
For sure, you can't be getting into the 10K range, so we're going to be running the 8700s. But from what I can see, a lot of these 8700s are kind of ramping into the 9200 range. Some of them are a little higher, some a little lower. We're kind of trying to figure that out still, exactly what the KV range is going to be, because it's so, those motors are kind of iffy. Like, you'll get some that test right on the money, and then you could just get a brand new one out of the package right now and, lube it up, let it run a little bit, and it might turn 9300, and it's 87 right out of the package.
Let's back up on this race, because I'm really excited about this race for you guys. I think this is going to, you're already on the map, but this is going to really blow up in social media a very positive way. I can tell the way you guys are going to run this race. It's going to be top notch. The rest of us are going to learn from it, right? So as promoters around the country, everybody's going to be watching this really close. So how many cars in the seating and that, like how many cars will be on the track kind of through the whole show? And then how many will make the main, if you can tell me that?
So we're going to allow up to 6 cars on the track. On the seating, it's only single car seating, so it's like real qualifying. So it's one by one. Give them 6 laps. We only need their fastest lap. So that fastest lap is going to depend if you start qualifying with the slow groups or with the fast group on Saturday morning. Now, we do resort every after round of qualifying. So if you do pretty good on your first qualifier, you're probably going to get moved with the faster group for the next round. But yes, we'll be allowing 6 cars at a time, so 6 will be making the A mains.
And then your 300 lipos unrestricted, right?
Correct.
Okay. Boy, that's going to be wild. This is going to be a wild show. But that's pretty much how you guys run all the time now, correct?
Yes. Yeah. We like I said, we don't put that much limitations on the 1RC, so that is how we run out here. They're pretty fast.
Oh, yeah. This is going to be such a great show. Anybody who's listening to this, you have got to put down, and I'm going to have it up on the screen so they can see your flyer. Mark May 24th, 25th. If you can make that race, you're going to be a part of history. This is going to be a great race that they're going to be talking about 10 years from now. I know it. It's going to be huge. Yeah, right. It's going to be huge. And if not, if you can't make it, like myself, I'd love to be there. You got to watch it on Lifetime. You got to watch it on YouTube. They've got everything covered from social media to having the races on live. That is going to be the show May 24th and 25th to be tuned into or be there. So everybody listen and make sure you don't miss that show. Anything on your side, guys, that you want me to that you want to talk about? I've been doing all the asking questions and grilling you, and are there certain things that you want out and talked about your facility?
I mean, it's just been a great place to race. I mean, because I'm sure, I don't know how long you've been in the hobby overall, but it just fluctuates so much. It's been a roller coaster the last 20 years of, let's go back 10 to 15 years ago. Short course trucks were the huge thing. Everybody, you would go to a local off-road track, there'd be 8 A-scale buggies, but there'd be 42 two-wheel drive short course trucks, and that's what we used to have, and then it dwindled. Then all of a sudden everything kind of died. We went to kind of A-scale racing, and then that's always rocky because, in my opinion, for what it costs to race A-scale competitively with a strong group, you might as well go race a budget stock car or a dirt legend, for what you're spending. So, and that's for 10th scale, or these cars are cheap.
Yeah, that's just such the appeal of the 1RC cars. We'll get back to in a minute, but you brought up a good point. Again, with us being promoters, anything ebbs and tides, right? Something gets really popular and then isn't so popular anymore, or just becomes commonplace. But what do you think, in your opinion, since you ran those types of cars, why did they get so wildly popular, and then why did it die off?
What I think is just nowadays, I mean, think of even going back to that time frame, we were already kind of in a transition as people of things getting more expensive, and so the cars got more expensive, then the parts would get more expensive. And at one point, say, let's go to a Slash, and when the SC10 came out, those cars were, say, $200 at that time, race ready. Then next thing you know, we're all going and getting, $130 lipos for our trucks. And then you're getting the newest and greatest Tekin speed control or Team Power speed control, whatever was big at that time. And then there was always a new thing every 6 months, every 3 months. It's always changing. It's still doing that with A-scale racing. You'll go buy a $900 roller with nothing in it, and then now you still got to put another $500 in it just to make it competitive to the next guy. And it's just continually, it continually gets too expensive. Where these cars, you can't outprice yourself. Anybody and everybody, as long as you got at least about $200-$300, you can race and potentially win. I mean, you might not beat the local fast guy, but you can be right up on his bumper for that price. Because even that fast guy doesn't have much more than maybe $300 in his car, other than his radio potentially.
So well said. And I think if you just keep the cars racing with 1RC parts, you can't lose. Yeah, this thing shouldn't get out of control. We've seen in all different forms. I used to, when I started. I started in 1978. Yeesh. Oh, yeah, so you're closer to when my brother started. And then I started as a little kid because he was always doing it. And, talking about one more thing that was a fad that outpriced itself really quickly. It was insane how quick it killed itself on the national level, too, not just here locally, is RC drag racing. Because those guys, they're spending horrendous amounts of money, like even our local guys, and they actually kept getting slower instead of faster because you're just spending so much money, putting too much power into a car, and then now you can't even tell a new guy to come race with you. Like us, we could bring a coworker and tell them, hey, come race with us. They can order a car that weekend, where if you tell somebody, hey, come drag race with me, you show them everything they need, they got to go get a new credit card and hope their wife doesn't find out. With this, their wife might actually buy them the car. We've actually got some racers that their wives have surprised them with, oh, I heard you wanted that modified. I ordered it for you. Right. So within reason, it's not bad at all versus everything else, because drag racing on the national and local level killed itself within about a year. Yeah, you're so right. We are going to do a show coming up here probably next month. It'll air, and it's regarding the whole drag racing scene, and it's different. It's you've nailed it. It's different. Those guys they put a lot of money out, but they race for a lot of money. That's what's crazy. Yeah, but even look at that. They had those big races that were paying big dollars and actually big contingency money. Like some of those guys were taking home contingency money that was bigger than the overall purse. But also look at it. They went from having 500 guys to now maybe 150 guys barely show up. Mm-hmm. So even their biggest all-stars quit doing it and they went back to off-road or just not doing anything. Like I know there's a Mr. Judge from California. He went
and got out of it from all the drama with everything that was going on. And he's actually going back to oval racing. I was thinking of seeing if you'd want to come down for this race too, because he was actually a good oval racer at one point.
Mm-hmm.
And he's done with the drama of drag racing because it just got out of hand and a lot of drama just overall. That's the easiest way. I was trying to think of another word, but just pure drama.
Yeah, no, all well said. You nailed it. And it's unfortunate. We don't like to see any portion of the hobby, go down, because then that just kind of labels the hobby, right? Altogether. Like, oh yeah, people get into it, but nobody sticks around for it. So don't get involved. But the one area that just seems to keep growing steadily and people get excited the first time they try them or the 100th time they try them are these 1RC cars. Yeah. It's fun to talk to people like yourself, completely opposite end of the world from Wisconsin or Illinois. And just there's so many tracks popping up because it doesn't take a lot of room to do it. Like I said, I got mine in my basement and I can get 25, 26 people down there. That's plenty of people to have a fun afternoon of racing. It's just a good thing, man. And I'm so happy that you guys are so successful with it. You've done something completely different than anybody else is running a dirt track. Do you know, are there many other 1RC dirt tracks out there? I mean, we know a few, probably not as popular as yours, but do you guys communicate with any other 1RC dirt tracks anywhere?
Yeah, well, I've gotten messages from people that been wanting to build dirt tracks, and I let them know the process that I do. But not really. It's really not that many 1RC dirt tracks. It's not that hard to build, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. One thing I would recommend anybody wanting to build one is it wouldn't be like a tent scale dirt oval where you can kind of get away with some loam or not actual packs, not a fully packed surface. This, you want to fully pack it. You want to, I know some places, once again, have never ran Blue Groove or sugar type tracks, but you almost want to get it like concrete. And then that's where you kind of choose what you want to do. Like, I'm sure you're at least familiar with BMX racing in some form. Nowadays, they're like that. They run a hard packed surface and they don't really sugar it, but they use this thing called dirt glue. And it's a deal that you mix, and it'll basically form kind of like the sugar surface, but it won't give you the traction that we have, but you can work with it from there. Because you can't run anything with loam. You can't run a muddy track with these cars because, they're not really meant to do that. They don't have the travel to really go and do all that crazy stuff like a tent scale car would be able to. Right, Plus, they don't have the weight to roll in anything that is out of place. You got to have a surface. They're not going to build a surface like the bigger cars will.
Right. No, it's so cool, guys. So what you guys are doing is on point. So proud of what you're doing. So here's always a fun question when we're talking to people that are into 1RC. What do you think the next one will be? What are they going to launch?
I think that they've got to at some point because, you would think they're going to want to capitalize on the fact that people have off and on messed with a stock car. You would think they're going to come out with maybe a legitimate stock car that you can just buy and go race versus, building one. I hate to take away from the guys like Terry Plummer that are building bodies and other companies that already made the bodies, but it would be great for them to just make a stock car so you don't have to tell the guy that says, hey, I like those stock cars. How do I get one? And then you got to tell them what they're doing. And if they're new, it's kind of throws them off a little bit. But where you can tell them this company sells a Monte Carlo stock car ready to race, I think that would be their next step. If I was there, that would be my next step. Or build a legend car. Maybe based off some of the digit stuff.
Yeah, you bring up an interesting, perspective to it. Now, they did obviously, come out with the asphalt late model car, completely different tires, but still the same chassis as the dirt car. The late model. I did a conversion. So you're thinking hobby stock, basically, right? Like
some sort of a
sportsman,
real stock car.
Yeah. Do you think though that they would, if they did that, it'd be very much like the asphalt late model and the dirt late model? Do you think they would? Are you saying that they should go to a whole different chassis, chassis? Just build it.
I would, in my opinion, I would either base it off of the modified or the late model because depending on which way they want to angle the stock car, there's still some places that run them on a street tire in real life. So it'd be better to base that off the modified. But if they want to base it off like USRA stock cars or Wasota stock cars that run real, race car tires, you could base it off the late model and then just build around that. But it's really up to them. The only other thing I would say that I would hope, I'm keeping my fingers crossed because it keeps me away from the modified personally, is if they would actually give it an up-to-date body. In my opinion, they look kind of like, a 90s IMCA car. So I'd like to see an updated body that looks like a real outlaw-style modified. So those are my dreams. Hopefully they like what they hear if they hear this.
If you were the 1RC king for a day, that's what you'd want, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So guys, hey, I'm going to let you get back to it. I know you got some racing probably coming up this weekend. Do you got a show this weekend?
Yes, well, hopefully tomorrow. If weather is not that bad, we will be racing tomorrow for our second round of the Winter Icebreaker Series. So hopefully we'll be racing 1RC tomorrow.
How many racers do you think you'll have out there?
I'm not sure, but last time we had 26 cars checking in, so that was good for us.
That's all you need for fun, that's for sure. So everybody gets in the track, gets to enjoy their day, and they're not there till midnight. That's a good show when people can, the show keeps moving. They'll be back.
Oh, and one last note about our deal here is one thing that's great about how the track runs is it actually changes through the afternoon or night like a real dirt track. It will, obviously it's not heavy like a dirt track when they roll it in, but you got some serious grip. And then as the mains transition through, it starts to slick off. And sometimes you'll see a groove change. You might early on, it might be dominant to run the bottom and, it's perfect. No matter what, as long as you just hit your marks, it's perfect. Next thing you know, you're moving up the racetrack into the middle groove or up to the top, and it starts to work on top. And sometimes it flip-flops the other way, but depending on how many cars we have on the track throughout the night.
Yeah, that's one of our favorite things about racing on this type of surface, that weather conditions do change the race conditions on us. So that is personally something that I love about RC racing. When things change on you, it just makes you a better driver as well.
Yeah, and it switches it up, right? There might be somebody dominating the race early, and then all of a sudden, the track gets away from him, and the guy that was running third, all of a sudden, this is his track, and he starts to come up. So that's awesome. That was one question I had: is how many laps in the main for your big race in May?
For the A mains, it's I believe I put 70 laps for triples. And then the lower mains, you're looking at 65 laps, which in minutes, 65 laps is possibly like 6 minutes around there. For the A mains, we're probably looking like 7 to 8 minutes.
Track will definitely then be changing in that period of time, so that'd be interesting. And you're doing a combination of laps and time to determine all the seeding. You're doing pretty much, let Live RC kind of do its thing, right?
Right. The qualifiers is pretty much the InfMark format. So you're racing against the clock. Once you cross the loop, you're not racing against each other. And then the mains, lower mains, and A mains, you're racing against heads-up racing, which we do roll starts as well for the mains. So that's another fun part of our track, that we do rolling starts. But it is heads-up racing for all the mains.
All right, we want to take this time to really thank you, Jimmy and Chris, for joining us tonight, being on the show. You guys are checking all the boxes. So this is that May 24th show is 24th and 25th is going to be outstanding. But your weekly shows too, obviously, are really great, entertaining, and you're bringing in more and more drivers, because for everything I see, you guys are doing it all right. Your heart is in it. You got a nice, organized, clean program. The track is impeccable. And yeah, just proud of what you guys are doing. Thanks for what you do for the hobby, because it can be a thankless job to those who have to put it all together. And then you're entertaining, right? You're trying to provide a location to entertain, have your friends, and make new friends. And in the world that we live in today, that's really, really important. So I applaud the efforts that you guys put in, and thanks for being on the show, man, because you really brought a great perspective, not only just the 1RC, but RC racing in general. So thanks again, guys. I really appreciate being on the show.
No problem. Thanks for the invite.
Thank you.
Yep. Take care.
Take care.
Hey, Ryan, we got big news. Papa Willie's has asked if they could be a part of the RC Underground Radio.
It's good stuff. Like the smell.
Do you use it as a cologne? That's a question.
I don't wear it, but it gets on me.
I've looked at some of their social media. They
really
like to have fun.
It's good to promote his kindness as well. You know, he likes to have a lot of fun. You see it in all of his promotions, and we're certainly going to jump on that train. But, you know, when you're buying his product, know you're buying from a good guy who really supports this hobby and, you know, supports our mission, and that's to grow it and support racers and racetracks throughout the country.
For sure. So stay tuned, everybody. It's going to be a fun ride.
Folks, are you looking to gain a 10th on the racetrack, or maybe get a few ladies like Taylor Swift in your pit stall? Well, I'm sorry to say that Carpies can't work miracles in those departments. But here's the good news. The folks at Carpies can definitely help you become the ultimate toy car nerd, just like me. How, you ask? Well, with their custom wraps and killer collection of official RC branded merch. So while they can't promise to shave a 10th off your lap time, they can save you 10% on your next order with promo code RCU10 upon checkout at carpies.com, CARPYS.com. Wrapping winners since 2013.
We are happy to have the winner of Alien Invasion with us, Dalton Hawbaker. Dalton, welcome to the program.
Happy to be here.
Hey,
Awesome.
buddy. Congratulations on that win. And it wasn't just one win, it was multiple.
A couple of heat race wins. Just shy of that fast time. I gotta give a shout out to Easton. That kid, he gets some consistency. He's going to be a force to be reckoned with.
But buddy, you did something that can maybe be often imitated but never repeated, right? And you did a clean sweep of multi divisions at the RC Underground, because in the past we've only run dirt late model. We had the asphalt late models out there, and we also had midgets. And there was a similarity between all three races, and that was the guy that won everything, and that was you. So let's start with the midgets, since that's something completely different than what we've done down there before. Give us your thoughts on the midgets.
Midgets are, they're fun cars to drive. They're kind of difficult in the fact that they got such a short wheelbase and they're so twitchy. My midget actually it actually had a rough day. I broke a spindle, broke the hood. I think I broke something else. I can't remember what it was. But I run the entire day without a hood, basically. But no, they're super fun to drive. Like I said, they're kind of hard to drive just because of that short wheelbase, and they're just how twitchy they are. So
what was your thought? A lot of people were like, "Oh, you're going to run them with like unrestricted lipo." Like, what was your thought on that though? Because they didn't look like completely out of control. They look fast. There's no doubt they look fast, but it was good racing.
Yeah. So my car has a regulator in it, and the way that you run the wire to through the battery, because I ran it the same way that the ESC wire, power wire for the battery goes. So it's kind of a pain to just take it in and out of the car. So I just ran it, with the regulated lipo in it. I've driven it without a regulator with a lipo, and it's crazy. It's really hard to control.
So
yeah, as far as like experience level with the midget, it would definitely not be a beginner's car.
Right.
Yeah. It's the cheapest that 1RC has to offer, but as far as experience, if you don't have very much experience, that's definitely not the first car I would go for.
I'm gathering from this, Dalton, you're basically saying, Ryan, sell your midget, don't ever race it. Is that what you're getting at?
I don't know.
I can take it.
I've never seen you drive it, so
I leave it at home. It's a shit queen now. So.
Well, that might answer the question I was going to ask. It was to you, Ryan. Does this motivate you to want to bring the midget back out?
I definitely want to try it, but again, I got I've learned a lot since I bought that car and actually raced it. So I think I'll definitely give it a whirl and see what we can do with it. And I bought a Ron Peacock Silver Crown car. I want to run that, and then also a sprint car. But those I'm just going to put nickel metals in or regulators in and run them that way because that's a lot of power and they are super twitchy cars. So
to the other new class that we ran. And I'm sorry, I'm like super excited about this class, which is the Asphalt late models. They made their debut. Great field of cars. I think we have 5 or 6. And once again, there was a green car that was out in front. You're probably familiar with that one, Dalton.
Yep.
So tell us a little bit about your thoughts running the Asphalt late model. Was that the first time you've competitively raced that car?
Actually, I think it was the third.
Okay.
It was the third time. It was the first time on soft tires though. Oh. Because I when I bought the car, it primarily was going to run on carpet. So some other people had bought it. I had driven it, and just because of the way the layout of the pin tire, it grips into carpet pretty well. So and then the first race I actually had it, I went down to Chillicothe, Missouri, down at NCMO, North Central Missouri, and that was the first time I actually brought the car. And I didn't say anything to anybody saying that I had it. I just told people, I ordered it, and I just debuted it down there. And it's also a foam track, but I had the hard tires on. And I got down there and drove it around, and was like, I wish I had a set of soft tires because I think they'd be perfect down here. So before I came up there, I made sure I had a set of soft tires.
Yeah. The first time mine was a conversion. I didn't buy brand new yet, but I thought, let me just do a conversion, see if I even like it. And just instantly fell in love with it. But yeah, I had softs on it all the way, and it was like just I just Frankensteined it together with a bunch of stuff I had. Threw it down the track, and I was like, whoa, this is fun.
Yeah, I think a couple people around where I race at, that's what they did. They had a late model, and they just converted it. Mm-hmm. I actually bought it as an asphalt late model.
Yeah, it was super smooth, and just, it seemed like you had tons of grip in that car. You could kind of point it anywhere, and it would just work.
Yeah.
Now, do you set that up very similar to your asphalt 8 model in terms of springs and that, or is it completely different setup?
It was actually, I think the only difference was I had more, because I was running a coilover setup on it. I think I had more spacers in the front to try and get the nose off of the ground, so it didn't bottom out going into the corner. I think that was about the only difference, and it still bottomed out in the feature. Because if you actually watch the video, you can hear the car hit the ground. So the first part of the feature, I was kind of driving to trying to prevent that, basically.
Oh man, I had fun trying to chase you down. It was we had some good battles. Again, the car was on point, but yeah, I just don't have the talent. So. I got one person to run one of my cars, which is George Murray. Now I think I got to find somebody else to run my other car to see what it can really do, and maybe it can win a race. And so let's go to the big show, which was the dirt late models, and that's what was the main event. 150 laps. Man, we had a house full down there, and so you not only beat some of the underground regulars, you beat a whole new host. We threw 5 more guys at you, and we still couldn't take you down. So, no, you just tell us a little bit from your perspective going into the Underground Invasion 150 and what you took away from that.
Well, first off, I'm going to give a shout out to Joe, because there was a part where I managed to traction roll the car somehow in the middle of the back straightaway, and it actually rolled outside the track, and he was standing there, and it rolled right next to him, and he picked it up and put it on the track. So I got to give a shout out to him. I feel bad for how his race went. With the battery and everything coming out of the car, which caused the caution. not sure if that really benefited me whatsoever or not, or if it just kind of let everything settle back down. Because at that point, I think I was 2 laps down, maybe in second or third. It was around that time period.
Yeah, I think second. You got Well, when you went out when you were out, got to third, but like as soon as you put the car down back out, that person was only like 3/4 of a lap ahead of you, and so then you got back around them. So third-ish,
it was
second-ish.
pretty much after that point, the car kind of started coming into play. It got back into the sweet spot, and it pretty much was on rails at that point. And that's actually something I've noticed with my cars recently, is they don't start out as good, and then kind of as the race goes on, they get better, which I guess that's not a bad thing. So
you want that, yeah.
But yeah, that's something I've noticed a lot here recently, is the car doesn't start out. It doesn't seem like it starts out as good, but after getting a few laps in, it kind of comes, kind of settles down and comes around, and is pretty good. So, as far as going into that race, I guess I really wasn't thinking too much about it. I guess it was just like kind of whatever happens, happens. I guess so.
Yeah, I mean, I've always noticed you to just be smooth. I think consistency is really your key, and obviously you set up a great car, and that's the one thing about watching your race is, I think you go in with low expectations, but you just say, I'm going to drive my race. And I always see you do that. I don't see you get flustered on the stand, or, even when your car went out, and God bless Joe, Algersma, he's a good dude. I love that guy. But, to get your car back on track and then pick it up again, you just stay consistent and smooth. Right. And I think you have a great ability to kind of avoid, wrecks. I think you have a great ability to look ahead, where you're racing too, which is something that, I know I lack, but, it's a good trait to have, especially in RC, because things happen so darn quick,
Yeah. The problem I have sometimes, if I look too far ahead, then I screw up my entry, and that's where I usually turn in too soon. And that's where I get myself into a bind. But yeah, it is actually kind of hard to not focus strictly on your car. You kind of have to watch ahead. Especially with the faster classes. Because it's hard to, the car's moving so fast, so you got to look a little further ahead. And like I said, if you look too far ahead, that's where you kind of screw up. So,
right.
Yeah, I had an interesting, as we're talking about Joe, we had a little interesting side conversation. And he said, raced a lot of stuff, but I can't put my finger on it, but racing at the underground is just different. You have to attack it differently. Would you guys agree with that? And if you do, what do you think it is? What do you think that would be different other than the size? I mean, sure, and everything's happening in 2.4 or 5 seconds, but other than that,
I'd have to say the grip level, I guess. Like, it starts out, like when you're in practice, it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of grip. And then as the day goes on, it seems like the grip levels kind of come up. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it. I say the last time I was there for the 400, I didn't prep tires whatsoever. This time I actually did, because I was getting worried because the car wasn't handling like how I remembered it handling before. So I'm like, well, is it because I'm running a coilover setup? Because the last time I was there, I ran the conventional setup. And I'm like, well, no, my asphalt late model is fine. And it's got the same front setup basically going on, except for, like I said, it's got a couple of spacers in it to raise it up a little bit higher. So then I tried a new set of tires, and it helped, but it still didn't work the way I wanted to. And then I put a little bit of sauce on the tires, and then the car was back to normal. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I think you really hit it on the head, Dalton, and it really has to do with the progression of the track. And I think that's what's most unique about it. I came into that race dealing with the chili bowl flu and really did nothing to my car as to prepare. And, even then it was judging the amount of grip on the track. I didn't get a lot of practice. I had some issues with my receiver, but what it is I think the key is not only be a good driver and have talent, but it's judging that track, and when it starts to grip up, seeing it, watching other cars out there, during practice or heats and seeing their grip level pick up, that ultimately tells you, okay, I got to back off the sauce, and just kick the glaze off the tires or, whatever you need to do,
Yep.
or maybe put on that glued right front to help you out. But yeah, that track changes dramatically throughout the day. It's unbelievable. And at the end of the day, there's so much grip in that track. I mean, I'm not saying you can flat foot it around, but it's very easy to traction roll for sure.
I've been curious about this since race day, since the D main. Tracy, you know who Tracy is, right? Ran considerably different in the D main than he did earlier. Little speculation that you helped one of your co-racers out a little bit. Did you give him some advice?
I've been in that position once before I shouldn't say once, several times, where the car is just so uncomfortable or just, I don't know, it just doesn't drive right and you're not having any fun. And it's like, all right, I got to help this person out and we got to figure something out. But Tracy is actually significantly better than the first time I'd seen him when I was up there for the 400. He's come a long ways with that car.
I was just going to say, he ran the fastest laps in that D main. He just, at the end, I don't know if the cars started going away from him or, grip or whatever, but I was like, whoa, he's going to win this thing. Actually, I think he went out of the ballpark too, or had something happen to him. I think he was out a few laps. Yeah, he was, a matter of fact. Now they remember, he was down like 9 laps. He came back and finished, I want to say second, like 2 to 3 laps down. Like, I was like, wow, he's really cranking. And then I look and I'm like, whoa, he just ran like the fastest laps of the race. So
I remember he asked me something about like a spring setup that I had on, or just asking me something about that. And I told him what I was running, and I don't know if he changed it to that. So I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, he did. I didn't know what the full conversation was. I knew it was somewhere with springs because afterwards, I was trying to give him his due, right? Because, okay, the dude finished second, but like, we need to talk about what he did.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I owe it to Dalton. And then he walked away. And I said, oh, okay. They were working some strategy out here in the pit. So kudos to you, man. I mean, that's the spirit, of the RC Underground, is people help people. People don't hold things back. So you might think you did a little thing, but you just changed his whole rest of his race season, right? He's got to be super excited to come back. And I'm putting this out there to people. Keep an eye on him, because if that car runs the way it did and he just settles down a little bit, I've told him just race the racetrack.
He's too darn hard on himself. He'll learn to let that go. And yeah, I mean, you helped him really get that car working right, and it was darn fast for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely looked better in that main. So
I'm going to keep pressuring you, but I know you said you're going to Indy. I think the week after the RC Foam National, so you didn't know that you could do both. Boy, we're going to have some hitters here, man. And I'd love to have Dalton in the mix. So I'll make the announcement right now because he sent me a message. So anybody that knows, Murph is always a good racer. Murph cannot make the Foam Oval Nationals. He has another commitment for an announcing gig at an RC show. Totally respect that. He did help us design this race. So I have to give a shout out to Murph for taking his time to help me design this race. But he recently got beat by somebody who Murph has the highest respect for. I did some investigation on this guy, and then so I reached out to him and said, boy, I'm trying to get the best of the best here. Hint why I'm trying to get Dalton to come. And so I said, hey, do you want to come to the show? So Michael Maldonado from Colorado, who has won the Colorado RC race multiple times. He recently won a money race in Texas, beating Murph, booked his tickets today. So he's coming. He's booked his flight. He is coming in. So that's another heavy hitter. We got Derek, the owner of Carpies. He's coming. And hey, he's no slouch, right, Ryan? I mean, the dude can race.
No,
a race
and his
car.
stuff looks awesome too.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
He's fast and his stuff looks great.
Yeah. JB Trickle's like, he's just about ready to commit. So that could be.
If you can swing it, Dalton.
You can swing it, buddy.
I would love
You're making it awfully tempting.
We're not pressuring you to commit now. You got
Dave's
3
pressuring
minutes.
you.
No, I'm just kidding. You have 5 minutes. No. So here's how this deal is going to work. It is not a money race that we're going to hand out money to drivers. We are doing this for charity. We're going to do raffles. We're going to do all kinds of ways to raise money. The winner of the race, 50% of everything that came in will go to that winning driver's charity. Another 25% and another 25% will go to second and third place finishers in the features. So you can do a really great thing. If you've got any kind of charity that you're interested in, or, something like that, you can do a really great thing for somebody, because you're going to be towards the top of the leaderboard. And come on, dude, in your heart, you want to prove that Dalton from Iowa is better than these guys that race. Oh, I'm forgetting Austin Wentworth.
Yeah,
Austin Wentworth is coming. So you got California.
Garage. Yep.
You got California coming. You got Colorado coming. You got Illinois coming. You got a bunch of guys from Wisconsin coming. Who knows what other states? I've heard South Carolina, maybe some Florida, maybe some New York. Hint, hint. And come on, you got to represent your state, but you got to.
Now he is making it awfully tempting. He's making me wonder if everyone's going to fit in his basement, though.
Oh, trust me, we know there's going to be people pitting in the garage. There's going to be people pitting outside in tents. There's going to be cars everywhere. We're probably going to have to shuttle people over from tailgaters. But we got a plan, baby. We got a plan.
I'll be sitting out in the garage in a lawn chair watching the race on Live RC, because I didn't make any damn mains. It's okay, though. I'm there for the show.
Oh, that's going to be a lot of driving. Go to Wisconsin, and then the very next week having to go to Indy for the 500.
It can be done. It's been done. Kyle Larson.
It can be done.
Carl Larson's doing the double. Just saying, it can be done.
Jumps on a plane, Dave.
Yeah, it's a little bit different than a car. Of course, he has to sit in a car for however long, though, doesn't he?
No, buddy. All kidding aside, just love to have you here. You're a great representative of the sport. You're an awesome racer. So yeah, we just love to have you here. That's all. That's all we're getting at.
The one thing I'm going to make a comment on, because I don't like to stare at guys' cars too much, or poke and prod and pick stuff up, and that you just don't do that. One thing, I'm walking through the pit area, and I look over at Dalton's box as I'm kind of glancing by, and this homie's got tubes of tires. He's got them all labeled, like there's X amount of laps on this set and all this stuff. And I was like, man,
it's not that intricate.
Yeah, but I know. But I was just like, dude, there's like 30 sets of tires here. You got them all labeled, all dialed in. And I was like, that's his secret, man. He's all about that tire prep, I just thought it was pretty cool. Yeah, see, there you
this
go.
Box.
Yeah,
this is for Chili Cup.
Man, you're going to burn through that many tires?
Well, so I scared myself the other night, because I sat down. I was like, how much money do I actually have sitting in this box? And so not all of them I've bought. I won some of them, and actually one of the sets I did open up, I did win from that North Central Missouri. But it came out to like $450, I think, just in tires.
That's crazy.
Sounds
dude.
about my tire bill for my SCB mod and my street stocks. That's crazy, man. All in one RC tires. So there's probably about 30 sets of tires there, I'm guessing.
I didn't count how many sets, but I mean, I guess that's what happens when you got 8 or 9 cars.
True story.
True.
You're addicted.
How many divisions are they racing there?
I mean, they're racing everything.
Again, we want to thank Dalton Hawbaker for joining us. Again, we're always so humbled that you come to the underground. 7 hours one way. He travels all the way from Iowa, and that, being a guy who's got the track in my basement, and I never imagined somebody would be that interested to come that far to race. So truly means a great deal. Truly means a great deal to all of us, because you make us better. You make all the racers down there better, and you got a great spirit. You're good for the hobby, and we just appreciate you, buddy, and we appreciate you being on here tonight.
Yeah, it's fun place to go. I think the next time I go up there, we're not staying at the same hotel that we stayed at this past weekend.
Did you itch when you left?
Well, we evidently, both my girlfriend Crystal and I, we both won a cold while we were up there, so we were actually just now getting over it. We were both, well, she was sick more last week, and then I was sick towards the end of last week, and both of us are starting to kind of get over it now. So, yeah, I'm not going to go into the horror stories that we had at our hotel.
We've been telling all kinds of hotel horror stories the last couple of weeks. So we should have led with that. We should have led. Well,
we got there. We got there about 3:00, and that's when check-in time was supposed to be. And the guy was like, "Oh, they're still cleaning your room. Can you come back in like 5-10 minutes?" I'm like, "Yeah, no problem." I mean, we still had to go to the store anyway, so it took us like 5-10 minutes to figure out where to go. And then when we got there, we probably spent another half hour, 40 minutes while we were there. Came back, and they were still cleaning the room. So about 45 minutes later, they're still cleaning the room.
Was there a murder in that room beforehand? I mean, that's a lot of cleanup. That's like an FBI cleanup.
Interesting you say that. The very last night we were there, about 2:00 in the morning, we hear this loud bang right outside our door. And we both woke up, and I'm like, do I get up and go investigate, or do I just stay right where we're at? We stayed right where we were at.
Smart move. No, it's cool, man. And, having you there, it's great. And again, you making that huge effort to drive that 7 hours. But I think the coolest thing for you is every time you make that huge 7-hour drive, you get to drive 7 hours back, but you always get like trophies to put up on the dashboard and stare at while you're driving home. So I hope it's worth the trek. It's a lot of fun having you there. It was really cool having you back for that big race. And I just hope you come around more often when you can work it into your schedule, because it's awesome. It's awesome being able to race against you. And I truly agree with David's statement in that you make us all better. You help us out. You're kind of a member of the track, if you will, in terms of what you do for all the other racers and that. So just an awesome time racing with you. Congratulations again on winning another one, my man. You didn't take the TQ trophy this time, but you sure did a great job of waxing everybody. And we all respect the heck out of you. So when I say it, it's not to be, derogatory. It's you did it, man. You worked your butt off and made it happen. So congratulations again.
Yeah, I didn't take the TQ trophy the last time I was there either. I think you took that, Ryan.
Oh, maybe I did.
True.
Yeah, maybe I did. Yeah, I'm good for one lap, buddy.
Yeah, you said it at the beginning of the year. You said, "Yeah, I'm going to be back. I want that invasion trophy. That looks like that's going to be pretty cool." And there you finished the story. You took it, and you were in pit lane with an alien, and that was very scary that the underground was truly taken over by an alien. And here's something I did not know. I did not know aliens have ponytails. I'd never seen that before. I never, in pictures, in drawings and sketches, I've never seen that aliens had ponytails, but that's something we learned at the underground. Yeah, we actually had an alien invade us and presented the trophy. And you will never have that ever happen to you again.
That took a couple days to recover from just that alone.
I was just happy there was some smoke. You got the smoke machine going. I wanted more of it, but
the funniest thing about the whole ordeal, after he got done handing the trophy over, he looks at Dave and he's like, "My Jeep is stuck."
Alien rolled up in a Jeep.
He's standing there in Alien, just saying, "My Jeep is seriously stuck."
We should have made him stay in the alien costume while he was getting pulled out.
Yes.
That would have been great.
Yeah. Kudos to Tracy, though, too, for having a truck to get him out, because there was no way in heck I was digging that Jeep out.
Your Honda was not pulling that thing out.
I had a good time just sitting back in the peanut gallery making fun of you guys trying to pull him out and stuff. That was a lot of fun. I think I got about a 6-minute video of it.
Yeah, he would probably be getting out of there maybe like by Sunday, Monday of this week, because it's finally all starting to melt. But yeah, we would have left him there. He would just, wait until it melted.
We're all standing there. As soon as he pulls them out, it's like, all right, who wants to take bets on whether or not he gets stuck again backing into it?
Yeah, right.
Well, he did. He started backing into my driveway. I'm like, stay out of here. Stay out of here.
He didn't want to leave.
Gotta love Ronnie. Gotta love that guy.
Who doesn't?
All right. Anyways, buddy, thanks again, Dalton, for being on the show tonight. Again, just a great conversation, and we wish you all the well when you go to Chili Cup and when you're running in Missouri and you're running around Iowa. But like Ryan said, this is home, buddy, and anytime you can, the door is always unlocked for you, and you know that.
I will put some serious thought on that May race. If I do it, I probably won't make the April race. Okay. Just because of how it works out with work and whatnot, but I'll put some serious thought to it.
If you could win that one, buddy, yeah, you're really saying something. There's going to be some hitters. There's going to be some hitters here. And hey, don't think like guys like Ryan and George aren't going to up their game. They're all going to be there too. So,
all right, buddy. Good
take
talking
care, buddy.
to you again, man.
Yeah, take care. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the RC Underground Radio Podcast. Be sure to like, subscribe, and tell your fellow racers about the show. Tune in again next week for more RC content.